Hi everyone, it's Cher from Cher Made Crochet back for another video. I just wanted to say hi and welcome. I noticed that we have a few more subscribers since the last time I posted anything, which was about a month ago, so I just wanted to say hi and I appreciate you, your support, and I hope you enjoy listening to me ramble on about my crafty life basically. So today's video, because it's been so long, I have been crocheting the entire time, but it's going to be a little bit longer because, like I said, I've been crocheting the entire time and I have a lot to show. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into it. So the first group of projects that I wanted to show you is they're all 35 by 45 approximately inch blankets. I'm going to be donating them, and that was the size that was required for them. They're all done in the same pattern, and they're all done with a 6mm crochet hook. So I'm not going to stand up and show you. I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I can. Sorry. Alright. So it looks pretty royal blue in this one, but this is Lion brand jeans in Capri. And it's basically like a bright blue-green with more of a green colorway to it. So yeah, I used 6 balls of yarn for this, and then the pattern that I used is actually a video tutorial by Alison Crochet. I just needed to use up some yarn that I've had on hand for a while, and I wanted to, so I basically decided on a blanket pattern, or on a blanket, but I didn't know what kind of pattern I wanted to use. So since this one was pretty easy, you crochet the border as you go. So like, it's all upside down again. So for example, when you start at the bottom here, you work, so when you start at the bottom, you work 3 rows of double crochet, and then you work on top of, so row 4 is on, clearly on top of row 3, but you start working on the pattern at row 4. And then to keep it symmetrical, I just crochet 5 stitches on one side, and then on the other side is 5 stitches again. So yeah, it's just a nice little blanket pattern. So that is the first blanket. The second blanket, this is the second blanket. It's the same pattern, but the yarn that I used here is Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek Baby, and the colorway is Blue Marled. And I believe, so once again, I used a 6mm crochet hook, and I believe for this one, I think I used between 6 and 8 balls of yarn. The balls themselves were kind of weird, so the label said on some of them that it was 165 yards per ball, and then there were other ones that said that it was 185 yards per ball. And I don't know if both of them were correct. They both say the same thing, it's just the numbers were, the 6 and the 8 were different. So yeah, I don't know. But I used as many balls as I could use. So that's the second blanket, and I have one more. Loops and Threads Barcelona in the colorway Mocha. And man, oh man, is that not showing up basically at all. Wow. I'll make sure to put a picture up instead so that you can see the blanket. But yeah, the only thing that's different about this pattern and the last couple of patterns is the type of yarn and color. I used, once again, a 6mm hook. So yeah, that's that for the first group. So then the second group, they're all, I think I've made 20 more 7x9" blocks. Life in the last week of August into the first week of September was really, really hectic, and I didn't have enough brain power to do anything large, or anything large, anything that required me to have to think. So I just blobbed out on some more granny stitch blocks. So, and these are all done with 6mm crochet hook. It's all done in the same pattern, and it's all done in worsted weight yarn. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly show you them because you've all seen granny stitches before. So this is Hobby Lobby's. I love this yarn, but I don't actually remember the colorway. I made 1, 2, 3, 4 in that colorway. Then this is the Red Heart. Wow, that is blowing up. So this is Red Heart, I don't know, stripes or something along those lines. I don't remember any of the colorways. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, and that. And both of these were full skeins. So then I'm pretty sure that this is a big twist yarn, but I inherited this from a friend's grandmother, or this yarn anyway. So I don't actually know what it is, but here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. I made 3 solid ones in that color. Then I made, I haven't woven in any ends. I'll have to do that after this video is done. But yeah, so a blue and a green, and then 1, 2 in royal blue. And then this is Red Heart Unforgettable, and I made 2 in this. And then I'm pretty sure that this is a big twist yarn in teal, but on my, like, from what I can tell, it kind of looks like a blue. It's a teal, or like a darker turquoise, I guess, but it's not blue. There's that one, and then with the extra scraps that I had from the other yarns, I had this, and then, okay, so then I have, oh man, as you can see that this is a bright neon orange, and I made 2 of them. So that's it for group 2. As I said, they're just 7x9" granny square. I just needed something where I could get something done quickly. I couldn't get frustrated by it. I just needed to find a way to make my mind not go at 100 miles an hour and just force it to just stop, really, just stop thinking in general. So that's why I had so many, and that was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days worth of stuff. So then the next one I'm going to show you is a result of a 2-day cold front. So what I did for those 2 days was I just kind of snuggled up under a larger pattern. My friend like I started this pattern or this project back in January. My friend had asked for it as a housewarming gift, and at that time, she was only she was getting her older house prepared, and they were actively looking for a house. But now, like, the move and the selling of the house is complete. I am so behind in giving them this present that I'm kind of like, well, thank goodness they're patient with me. So, all right. So I'm not going to show you the full spectrum of this blanket. I will make sure to put a picture, probably over me while I'm talking or like off to the side somewhere. But the reason why I'm not showing you this is because I only needed to work on the border. And that took 2 weeks. So I started this off with the 2-day cold front, and then I just kept going until I was finished, because why stop after it starts getting warmer? I needed to get it done. But this thing can fit my king size bed, and so I will not be showing you all of the pattern. The part of the pattern that I really wanted to make sure to show you was the border. So anyways, here is small scale what the blanket looks like. This is bold stripes from the pattern book Modern Southwestern Designs. And the answer, so the way that this blanket is kind of constructed is you work it in single crochets, and you work it in the back loops only with, and then you snip it at the ends, so you have fringe. And so for them, or the designer, the easy answer is to make fringe. My friend said that she didn't want the fringe, and I didn't want to make the fringe either, so my answer was a mosaic double border. I know the designer's first name is Tina, but I cannot pronounce her last name. I don't even know where to start with that, so I'll make sure to put her name up in the front somewhere, because yeah, she's amazing. She's an awesome designer. But this is the border. So I picked it because it was simple and it didn't clash with the stripes. And so this is the only part that I really needed to absolutely pay attention to, because everywhere else just kind of had like another bold stripe pattern. I don't know how to say that, but it was just plain and simple until you got to the corner. And then because it's a double border trying to hide the fringe, it's the same on the opposite side. So, and yes, this took so much work, but it's very much so worth it, because it looks whole, it looks complete, and I didn't have to weave in every single end from every single row that you see here. And I'm grateful. So, I gave my friend the update that I was working on this pattern again, and she seemed to be very, very pleased that I had gotten, or that I had started working on it and that I was getting it done. So yeah, now that I have shown you, I can make sure to hand it over. Alrighty, so that is that massive project. So then the next group of mostly finished objects is knitting. So just a little background, I used to knit. I learned how to when I was in high school. However, I'm left-handed. I crochet right-handed because of my issues with knitting left-handed. So I learned my lesson by switching it up when I started learning the crochet craft. And so basically knitting has always been confusing. I couldn't figure out how to do the purl stitch. And I basically gave it up when I felt like I couldn't go anywhere with knitting because I didn't know how to read patterns. I didn't know more than one stitch. I was getting frustrated that I would make all these mistakes and wouldn't know how to fix them. And just, a long list of reasons that were stockpiling against knitting. And then I saw that, over the course of the last few years, YouTubers, they also started, they would go from crochet and then they would start knitting. And I would kind of be a little bit envious that I, once upon a time, could technically knit, but then, could never go anywhere with it. So, a few years of that, and I was like, okay, well, if I started up knitting, what would I do? And the answer came to be hats and scarves, which is really funny because I hate crocheting hats and scarves. So, yeah, that's really funny to me. It's a nice dose of irony, I guess. But anyways, I saw on YouTube a sort of tutorial for, I think it's by Bee Hooked Crochet. I'll make sure to link everything that I talked about here in the description box down below so that you can see what I'm referencing to if you are interested in learning. Anyways, the premises of the tutorial was to knit any size hat with more or less any size yarn. And so she made a list of the materials, and I ended up going on, or based off of caution, I just ordered the needle that she wanted me to use for a worsted weight yarn. And from there, I figured out what I was doing wrong with my knitting. So I did manage to make some knitting stuff. That was a really long ramble, but so the first one, I hope you can see it. So it's just your standard hat. I did a 2x2 ribbing. You can't see squat. It's okay. I have a lighter hat that I'm going to show you in a moment. So I did a hat. Then the next one I did, I ordered a pair of straight needles as well because I have friends who love super thick, chunky scarves. And so I thought that I would make her one for Christmas. She asked for something like this last year when I asked her, but last year I couldn't figure out how to knit properly, so I didn't make it, but I kept it in mind just in case. And I don't know if you can tell, but my stitches are all twisted and what have you. So for next time, I'll make sure to do this properly. But now my friend has a knitted scarf, and she did specifically say she liked the tweed. So there we go. We have a tweed scarf, an extra thick, chunky tweed scarf. So my camera stopped rolling. So I'm gonna go ahead, and then on top of it all, I thought that I had hit the record button, and I did not. So I remember where I was when my camera shut off. I was talking about my knitted hat, or my knitted scarf. So my knitted scarf is made with 2 strands of loops and threads, impeccable tweed, in either the cream colorway or the off-white colorway. I'm not quite sure. My friend, she showed me a picture of her scarf that she absolutely adored, and it was in black with colorful tweed instead of like the brown flecks, it was like multicolored. Anyways, she was talking about how if she had the choice, she would buy a scarf in like every single color ever if it was done like this. So I did my best to make it a thick, chunky scarf for her, and I hope she likes it well enough, at least until I make her a second one. I'm sure the next one I'll be better at. And then the knitting needles that I used is, I think, 10 millimeter or US size 15. It's a pair of straight needles, and I basically did it to practice my stockinette stitch because purling is not something that I learned right away, and then I stopped knitting for 10 years. So this was a practice scarf. So anyways, that is that finished object. And then my next one is not quite a finished object. It's almost done. I need to do maybe one more decrease round. And then I'm contemplating whether or not I want to put it on DPNs and do more decreasing, or just go ahead and cut it long and weave it in, because yeah, they're getting too small for my knitting needles. So I am knitting another hat, and I actually don't remember if I showed you. Oh no, I'm pretty sure I showed you first. Was the black hat that you couldn't see. It's basically the same thing, but this one is done in pink. And if you're wondering why it looks like I'm knitting it from the inside, or inside out, it's because I'm a left-handed knitter. So the other side looks more appropriate. You can see my decreases there. But because I am left-handed, it's showing up wrong side for me, and that's fine. I don't mind. As long as one side is the correct way, I can work. I can deal with what I've got. So anyways, the yarn that I'm using is Yarn Bee Sweet Divinity yarn, and I think the colorway is called Blush. And then the ribbing is just knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, pretty basic. I think I had enough patience for about 3 inches, and then maybe 3.5, and then I decided to start doing my knit stitches. Yeah, I'm doing it with the idea that I'm going to fold the brim over anyway. So that is that. I'll probably end up having this finished by the end of the day. So, and if that's the case, I will do my best to take pictures. And basically, this hat is the same as my black hat that I showed earlier that you can't even see, really. So, yeah. So that's that. And that, I believe, is all of my finished objects. And whip. But that's everything that I was working on in the last month. If you enjoyed the video and my rambling and my airheadedness, I really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. And yeah, until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.